Hey, welcome to Sisters Unfiltered. We are back.
We are so back.
After a break. It, kind of felt like a big break. But
or just because a lot of things happened.
Yeah, a lot of things
what's
happened.
new?
Yeah. So before we keep, it's true. Before we keep moving on, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, thumbs up. I always think of my girls when they were little. They used to do that. Share. Yeah. That just helps us, move up in the algorithm of things, and more people are able to see our podcast. And we're just a little mom pop podcast. So not trying to get famous by any means, but just trying to spread the word of freedom and joy and confidence in who you are. And we're not just for moms, we're for everybody actually. But I'm saying we're a mom podcast because we're just moms.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and Lindsey just posted on Instagram just kind of like a recap of our last season.
Yeah.
And I was cracking up watching it. I don't know why. It's not like it's new. I mean, like I was there. But it's kind of fun to see the different clips over last season. So if you want to catch up, you can go back. Really, I think our podcast, you could just pick up on whatever thing you're interested in. I don't think it's necessarily a catch-up.
No, we're episode 25 today. Okay. So I just go up in my numbers, even though we are different seasons. So we're on season 3 today. So, I just go up my numbers. So 25 episodes. I mean, how many of you, let's ask this question, have actually listened to every single episode? I would be shocked if anyone has.
When you say that number, it doesn't seem real. Like, I can't even, if you ask me what are the 25 episodes we've done, I couldn't tell you. I don't know if I just do it and block it out of my mind and move on. I know. And then if someone mentions it to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
It is so weird. It's so weird to think we're almost 1 year old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah. I need to look back at the dates, but we're recording right now in January, but you guys will get this in February. So pretty soon, I think it might have been around February 13th-ish, maybe. I can't remember. I need to look back at the dates, but we're almost a year old, which is really crazy. Had somebody told me 2 years ago, in 2 years we're going to have a podcast with 25 episodes, I'd be like, that's so funny.
I know.
That's not going to happen.
I agree.
So anyways, but very grateful that we've carved out time, because it hasn't always been easy to carve out time.
Yeah. Yes.
So speaking of, because our schedules have been so nuts, and honestly, before we go in, we're going to do a very short recap, of what we've been doing. But I'm going to tell you, I am trying to currently schedule dinner with another couple. She probably knows when she hears this because she listens to our podcast, but they actually go to our main campus of our church. And we have been texting the last 2 days, and we cannot find a time to get together. Yeah. And I feel crazy texting her back because I'm like, I don't think of me and Derek or our family being that busy. And literally, we do not have an open date for a while. Yeah. And I feel so
Do you think you get busier? I was thinking about this the other day. Am I busier the older my kids have gotten? Because I feel like in some ways I'm not as busy as we were, because we don't have a million kids in sports, because that's a very busy time as well. But then in some ways, I guess you just can fill it with other things.
I almost feel like when your kids are little, you're physically busier as far as you're up and down a lot. You're moving a lot.
Maybe you're doing their things, but maybe when they're older, you're doing more of your things. I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out.
I guess I'm talking more when your kids are really little. Because I feel like when my kids were really little, toddlers, I never stopped.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it isn't, I feel the same way. We also are trying to get with someone. And again, we don't live in the same community. That makes it a little bit harder. Yeah. But it's I always say, Jeremy and I have more time than we've had in years because we only have one kid at home. But it's still very busy, and it's not the sports busy. No. When I had 3 boys playing football, that was the busiest season I've ever had.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
It is a very strange.
And then I sometimes just feel so I hate kind of saying I'm busy.
Oh no, so that's why I'm saying I feel crazy. I
kind of don't like that.
Because let's be honest, I have thrown some shade on some people who can't ever get with you because they always have something going on. Yeah. And I'm like, now, also let's say this. it's our schedule and this other couple's schedule. We're both busy. So it's not like we're totally open and they're not, or they're totally open and we're not. Yeah. So we are having to work schedules together. But I will say I have been known to be like, I should always have something going on. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like
I've turned into that person.
Yes. And I'm like, I am not this kind of person. Like, what is happening? And so I finally said, I resorted to, let's get me and you without the husbands. Oh, yeah. Let's have coffee. So we scheduled coffee on Friday, which was yesterday. We scheduled it yesterday. In 2 days, we're going to have coffee. And I said, and let's pick a date.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's almost easier if I get face to face with this person. Also, I've never hung out with this person. So I don't want it to come off like I can't make time.
Yeah. I'm with you. I've been trying to figure this out as well.
And January is normally a very not busy month.
I agree.
Now, our family has a lot of celebrations in January, so we do always have that because we have 3 celebrations. But still, like, anyways, it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Moving on.
We left off. Our last episode was with my daughter-in-law Sammy, talking about their wedding and Italy and all that kind of stuff. And then after that was like in November when we had that episode. Yeah. And then Lindsay and I just looked at our schedules again and we're like, you know what? We both were just feeling like this is, some things are going to have to give because of all the other things coming. So Lindsay traveled quite a bit. She had some trips during that time, right?
Yeah.
To Costa Rica.
Yes, we went to Tennessee to see Parker and see Derek's parents because they live close to there. And then we went to Costa Rica on a trip, just Derek and I, for kind of business, but it's also business and pleasure because, it's Costa Rica. Yeah. And then we took our oldest 3 to New York. Yeah. So around Christmas time. So we were pretty busy. Yeah. Like this year for us has been more travel than I think we have ever done in the history of all.
And a lot of travel close together, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We do not normally travel like this. Actually, just so you know, we have nothing planned but our beach trip as of right now. Which is for this whole next year. Yeah. So that just shows the difference of travel for us. But yeah.
Yeah, we didn't travel per se at all. I don't think
per se. I feel like you're grateful.
But I think that Jeremy and I were looking like around that time in November, and we were like, you know what? Let's just try to say yes to as many things as we can, because I just look at it like I'm so thankful for community and for people and for celebrations, and just really, I think, just trying to like take in the moment and do those things. And it was super fun. We had a blast. Yeah. But our calendar was full, and it was great. I don't regret it. It was awesome. Yeah. But I think our big thing was that Tyler and Sammy had their big reception. Yes. New Year's Eve. Yeah. Right? I mean, we did so for Thanksgiving, our whole family got together for Thanksgiving. Lindsay hosted Thanksgiving. We did, for the first time, a turkey bowl.
That was so fun.
Football game. It was so fun. It was such a win.
We're not always together for Thanksgiving. So this is like the holiday that our family really, it's up in the air on how many of us can be together, how many of us can't.
I feel like at some point in the day we end up together though.
Yes. So my preference is to travel for Thanksgiving. I love to go to the beach for Thanksgiving, but that's obviously not always doable. So yes, if we are all here, we do somewhat get together. Yeah. And this last year was just one of those years where most of us were all able to get together, and it was so fun. Yeah. I don't know what made it so special. I don't either. There was something about it that we did the turkey bowl, then we came back here. It's the first time I've ever tried to do like a long table where almost everyone sat together for a meal, and then we all sat on our back porch, and I don't know, it was just a sweet time.
It was. I mean, all the boys in the family especially want to run back the turkey bowl. They loved it. Yeah. And it really was fun.
It really was so much fun. The turkey bowl was great. We definitely need to bring it back. We need to redo it again.
So that was great. That was a win. And then obviously we had Christmas that we, Lindsay and my sister-in-law Kimberly and I take on the responsibility truly of trying to make that day as special and fun and I don't know.
Well, it's just, okay, so it's just this. We won't say on this at all. But here's the deal. We all live by each other right now, currently. So Christmas, if we're not careful, and we've talked about this before, can feel just like any other time we get together.
Right, like if we're getting together for a football game or
just dinner.
A birthday celebration or just dinner.
Yeah, and so what we have learned is to try to make it something different. I thought Christmas was great. I didn't think it was as great as Thanksgiving. And as far as for whatever reason, the turkey bowl was just so fun.
Yeah.
And I thought Christmas was fun, but to me, Thanksgiving was a little bit more just like, oh, it just warms my heart to think about it. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference was. Sometimes it's moods. Everybody's in moods. Maybe we're tired, whatever. But Christmas was so great. We did games that were funny and fun, and
we had a bunch of TikTok.
TikTok type games. So, anyways, it was great. But Christmas was over, and we had 5 days.
Yeah.
To get ready for
this Tyler and Sammy's reception that was at Lindsay's house, and it was great. Tyler and Sammy did a ton of work.
Yes, they did.
Lindsay and Derek did a ton of work, and it was amazing. It was so fun.
Yeah. Again, it was just. It's almost crazy to think that it was here.
I know.
I mean, it was
now
almost
that we're
weird.
Sitting in our kitchen right now, I'm like, did that event really happen here?
I'm like, it
so almost weird. Is like Lindsay's house turned into a wedding venue. Yeah. Like that is how it was, and it was great. It was so fun. People want to just like the Turkey Bowl. People want to run it back every year.
Yeah, they do. They said we should do that every year for New Year's Eve, and I'm like, okay. I don't know how my neighbors will feel, but it was great. Like 150 people came. And,
that was awesome.
We had dance floor and string lights, and it worked. When I offered that to Sammy and Tyler, I don't know why. It must, sometimes you look back and you're like, okay, I know that doesn't sound like a spiritual moment, but it must have been the Holy Spirit, because I was very confident, but it was a very like, hey, y'all could just have it here, but I had no questions in my mind that it wouldn't work out. And it worked out far better than I thought it was going to work out. And they did a lot.
Yeah.
And you guys did a lot. Like it was a lot, but
it was awesome.
It was beautiful. I feel like it turned out great.
Me too.
The pictures, everything turned out great.
Every minute of it. Now I'll tell you, I think I went to bed at 2:45.
Yeah, I did too. 2:45.
Let me tell you about this girl. I don't stay up that late ever. I'm in bed at like 9:30, and I honestly took me a few days to recover.
Oh, it felt like I went to a lock-in.
Oh, lock-in, yes.
Did anybody go to lock-in?
I also do not drink alcohol, so but I was feeling it for a couple of days.
I know. We us non-drinkers definitely.
What was your favorite moment? Like before,
at Tyler and Sammy's reception party. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah. Reception party
wedding. I don't know. And just to be clear for anyone who doesn't know, I'm sure you know if you're listening, but they already had a wedding in Italy. So they didn't have the ceremony here. I kept having to explain this to my kids.
Yeah.
This is still a wedding. It's just not the ceremony part. Let's just minus the ceremony. It was like they could not wrap their brains around this. It was just, the whole night was amazing, but they had this like spin. I don't know where Sammy came up with this. It's hard to explain. It was like an ode to Italy, since they had their wedding in Italy. So everything was Italian.
Like a nod.
To all things Italian. And apparently Sammy said at weddings in Italy, it's very common to the chefs come out and do this whole like puff pastry thing, and I don't even think I can explain to you guys, but we're all on the dance floor having a great time, and out of nowhere the DJ is like, everybody move out of the way, and they bring these tables, and there's two people, my nephew Blake and this other guy Tavian, who have mustaches on and chef hats, and they do this
and like nobody knows it's gonna go down.
Nobody knows.
Sammy had the idea, but then she
know.
Was like, I don't think it's gonna happen, but then Sky made it happen.
Yeah.
And it was
hilarious. They come out, Tavian and Blake are so animated, and they're throwing fruit to people to catch their mouths, and they have cream, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was so funny and so shocking, and like it probably was my favorite part of the night just for that. But honestly, the whole night was just as a whole like amazing.
Yeah. Lindsay's courtyard turned into like a dinner. There was just tables and a dinner out there. So that just like how beautiful that turned out was so cool. And I was trying to think too, like, what
the dinner was amazing for sure. The dinner was like half the people that came to the wedding, to the party.
There was like late night pizza, and so like Sammy had these boxes with their monogram on it of pizza boxes.
Yeah.
And like I also thought that was so fun because it was like 11:15.
Yeah, it was really late. The whole goal was,
and people were just grabbing pizza out of the box, like eating it, and it was like at perfect timing. Like everyone was like, "This is the best pizza I've ever had." I think it was just like Domino's, but you're just like.
You're dancing all night, and it's like there was no, like, it was just so relaxed and fun the way they did it. They didn't bring it out on tables. They just were like, pizza, everyone. And they're like bringing the boxes out, and people on the dance floor are holding pizza boxes, eating pizza. And no one has plates. They're just grabbing pizza out. And everything was just like so fun and light and joyful. And I
even though the funny thing is that like everyone was very dressed up.
Yeah, it was
but you're eating your pizza out of your pizza boxes, and I kind of love that.
And we all had like long to the floor dresses and fur coats on.
Yeah.
And it was outside. There's no tent.
Yeah.
So, but January, thank God Austin's weather for the most part plays nice.
Yeah.
So
it was awesome.
It was amazing. But Sammy had her white wedding dress on, like it
was great.
Tyler's like in like a tux. Like I don't know. It was a great night.
Yes.
So it was fun, but I still feel like I'm tired.
I know. Right, as you're talking about it.
I am.
And then, like, all of our college boys were home for Christmas, and they just went back this past weekend, and Lindsay actually said, she was like, I think that was harder for Parker going back than when I dropped him off at school in August. And I kind of agreed. It took me like a day, and I don't know if it was because I was like really tired or because it just seemed so empty. Or because we were so busy over the holidays, it seems like it wasn't enough time. I don't know. All of those.
And I've never had a college kid yet come home for a break like this. And so Ashley said normally the breaks are like long because they're here for like a month.
They're ready to go back. You're kind of ready for them to go back.
But this break was different. We had so much going on. And also Parker, in between all these events I've just told you about going to New York, he got home. We went straight to New York a day later. And then he had friends here.
Yeah.
So he had some friends from college come in for 5 days. And then we went into holiday mode. And then went to Sammy Tyler's reception. And then he had friends in again.
Yeah.
Up until almost he left to go back. So even though we did spend a lot of good time with him, thank goodness for New York and all that, I was bummed because Parker's so fun to be around.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and all the boys, like, the ones like my nephew Jackson Parker, they play like instrument, like they're musicians at our church, and they were there, and it was just so fun. And so,
I think too, when you have like a lot of them, so there's 3 just in our family, but there are other kids too that were here, like all leave at once to go back. You kind of feel it.
It is. It's like such a bummer. Yeah. So they went back. And they caravanned, our boys and my nephew Jack. So 4 of them caravanned to our dad's house in Alabama. And they had so much fun. Yeah. They stayed there the night. And then they drove to Tennessee. So anyways, but.
Yeah. So here we are. That's a catch up.
It was we did pretty good.
Yeah.
We're caught up in less than 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So today we were just like thinking, we're like, we don't want to have like too much of a catch up with the whole episode. And so we were like, what can we talk about? And something that we really have talked about in the past, we kind of talked about it as something to do on our podcast before, is just talking about just change.
Yeah.
And how, sometimes when you get older,
what do you
have a hard time with your readers.
I got my readers on.
Sometimes when you get older, like you get a little bit more stubborn to just change in general. Yeah. And this is changing small things, changing big things, whatever that we kind of wanted to talk about. And just know that like, as we talk about this, we're reminding ourselves about this.
Yes.
Honestly.
No, it's actually true. Because it's a current.
Yes.
It can be a current struggle.
Yeah. And I feel like our kind of tagline that Lindsay and I got together and we're like, okay, what are some things we're going to talk about on our podcast over the season? And we got really tickled because everything we talked about, we kind of had this tagline we would say.
We're not
judging, we're observing. And so this is one of them.
This is it.
That's right. We're not judging, we're observing. So it's just something that we kind of wanted to talk about today. But have you noticed, just for you personally, as you get older, have you become more set in your ways? And even like about small things?
Here's the deal. I saw Mom be this way. So Listen, we sing our mom's praises, and we will, and we're going to always sing my dad's praises.
Yes.
How I hope that our kids do the same thing. But mom was very much so set in her ways in a lot of things. And so it's one of those things that you're like, okay, there's not a lot of things that I looked at mom, though I don't want to be like that, but set in your ways is one.
Well, and it's also very common. Yeah. It's not just her.
No. I mean,
yeah.
It was everybody's parents.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but however, mom was set in her ways in certain things. But I bet you if she was here right now, she would say that she worked on a lot of things, on being willing to be flexible, I think. Because I actually think her actual, natural pull is to not even be flexible about any of the things that she was flexible with us on. Yeah. Like holidays and as we got older. So my point is that sometimes,
for her, she was very, sometimes it can be different compartments that you're you're kind of stubborn in. Yeah. And hers was scheduled.
Oh, for sure. Yes, we've talked about this.
Yes.
For sure she was not going to mess her schedule up, even if her daughter was going into labor.
Right.
That was a real story, and I might have told that before.
Have we told that?
I don't know. But
I mean, she definitely was the kind of person who's like, Mom, I'm scheduled to go into labor at this time on this date. And she'll be like, man, I don't know. I have a tennis match that day.
Yes.
And you're like,
a tennis match, just to be clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just talking to someone at church on Sunday about this because I mentioned this about mom, and he was like, his mom wants to do a ladies thing at our church, but she's like, I shop on Wednesdays.
Oh, no.
And he's like, Mom, you can change your shopping day. She's like, I don't know.
And
mom was like that.
No, she was like that. And if I'm honest, I tend to look at my schedule. Mind you, talking about how we just talked about scheduling things with people.
Yeah.
I looked at my schedule the other day and I was like, okay, I can't do it this day because I have this one thing. And I told myself, do not be your mom. You can do more than one thing in a day. Yeah. And so I do think that my whole deal is this. Did mom, no, I'm sorry, obviously, I don't know if y'all can hear the lawn people are outside blowing our courtyard, I guess. Okay, but my whole thing is this. Did mom recognize how set in her ways she was? And that's what I want me to be careful with.
Yeah, aware.
Am I set in my ways and I don't see it? Do my kids see it and I don't see it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, I do think no matter what, wow, that's so loud. I don't know if it's that loud for you guys. It's very loud for us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we are more set. Here's my deal. No matter what, everybody's gonna have something they're not gonna budge on. But my thing is this: the older my kids get, I'm having to be hyper aware of not being that way.
Yeah. Do you is there something recently that has made you think that? Any example, your routine, like you said, your schedule, technology. I used to be oh my goodness, your parents don't know how to. I've never been really great at technology.
I'm not a tech
period, person. Even when I was younger. But I started a job 3 years ago and I had not worked in a long time. And I literally had to self-talk and say, Ashley, you can do this. You can learn something new. Yes. You can. And I actually have so much. And it's been good for me, but it's uncomfortable. And I think that's where change is. It's it becomes uncomfortable.
And we feel like we deserve not to be uncomfortable.
We've already been uncomfortable.
Yes.
For years.
Yes. Yeah. I really think that's what happens is you get to an age where you're and I don't even think we're really to that age yet, personally.
But you can kind of see it coming.
You can see it coming, so you just want to start preparing yourself, not to do that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that when you get to that age where you don't want things to change is when the most change happens. Right?
Yeah.
It's the most out of control change.
Yes, I think you're right, but also it's going to cost you something if you're not willing to change.
Yes. And so what we're saying is, okay, so from when you're younger, you don't care. Change isn't even a thought when you're younger under your parents' roof.
Yeah.
until you graduate.
Yeah.
Well, then you have all kinds of change that you're ready for.
Right.
You're ready to go
you're
to college.
Excited, you're
excited.
passionate. Yeah. You're naive.
And you're like, I can't wait to have a career or
yeah.
whatever. Not that I've ever thought that, but whatever. Whatever that, I can't wait to be a mom.
Yeah.
All the change that comes with all that, you are ready to hit it, like full force. Then you raise your kids, and now you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You got your kids under one roof. Your
you
kids
worked
are
really
doing
hard,
well.
and you worked really hard at it.
Yes, and anything that your kids threw your way, you kind of gotten through in some ways. And I'm not fully there yet, but I'm just saying I'm there with some.
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden, your kids start leaving. And it just starts throwing a curveball. Right. And that's when you're the most comfortable in how you are. Now, the question is, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to be difficult?
Yes.
Are you going to be sensitive?
Yeah.
Are you not going to be flexible? Or are you going to be flexible, but you can still have boundaries?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And I do think Mom was very good about those things.
Mm-hmm.
Those things with us, I never felt a difference in it.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of say, like, I think it can be in compartments of not wanting to change in certain areas. And yet, I think you just have to be so careful it's not bleeding over into others. Because the cost can be, like, missed growth opportunities for you, strained relationships, isolation, becoming unteachable. Like, I never want to be unteachable, you know? Yeah. Or confusing comfort with, like, faithfulness.
Yeah.
You know? And I just think, like, those are some costs that it's like, am I willing to do that? And I think, you know, I'm not judging, but I'm observing.
Even ourselves.
That ourselves and other people that this has happened to.
It's so true.
It's just like you want to
and it's easy
be as proactive as you can and that not happening.
Yes,
you know?
And you can not judge and observe the closer you get to it because you start to understand it.
Yes, that's true.
It's
like I actually have more sympathy and compassion for it because I could see the tendency being that
leaning
way,
that
direction.
Yes,
because not only if you're married, do you have to do that for you? You gotta make sure that your spouse is also willing to change.
Yes.
And that's hard.
It's and you just want to be like with your kids and all of that. Like you want to always, and listen, this is not a struggle that I had with my kids getting older, but other people struggle with this when their kids are little.
Yeah.
They struggle with their kids going to kindergarten.
Right.
They can't let go of it. They struggle with their kids going to middle school or high school. Yeah. And it's the fear. A lot of it's fear-based.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it's a little bit of a different.
All of it's probably fear-based.
It is.
Because we're trying to control
everything. And so it's just, but I do think because I am beyond those, those transitions in my life, and more like moving forward, like Parker is, in college, and like before I know it, he's gonna, he doesn't have a girlfriend, he's gonna be married, and Micah's gonna be in college and married, and then it's like, how do I?
And then you're gonna have grandkids where you want to be in their life, but are you gonna be just like super stubborn about your schedule, your thoughts, your ways?
Holidays, they have to be here, and we have to do things a certain way because it's all about me, or am I gonna be like flexible and say, yes, I'm not going to say, sure, we're going to celebrate Christmas 5 different times in 5 different ways, but like flexibility of, like making my kids feel like mom's fine. Yeah. Like mom is happy. She just wants to spend time with us, however that looks. Yes. And I felt like mom and dad really did really well with that. Yeah. But mom didn't do good with her schedule. Yeah. Mom preached. She was called to teach. If you did not give her about 4 months a head start, she would say no.
Do it. Yeah.
In 4 months, guys.
Yeah.
Like Ashley got asked to do a teaching in how many days you had?
I don't even know if it was a week, maybe.
Not even a week. And I'm like, and she didn't. Now, I'm not saying you have to say yes to that stuff all the time. I understand that's not ideal. This was an emergency situation. Yeah. But
it also does
go
against your being comfortable, right? Or being prepared. And if you have any type of personality, which mom is very type A, I don't think that I was definitely not like her for sure. She did a lot of things way better than me. But if you have any type of personality that wants to prepare, be very prepared, sometimes you need to be pushed into being uncomfortable and doing some things that is not going just the way you want. But I think it gets riskier with age. That's what change gets riskier. And this is why. I did chat GPT some of this stuff because I was like, I just want to put it in the words that make sense. But more experience means more to protect. past disappointments shape our current like resistance to things.
Yeah.
And grieving past seasons while clinging to what feels stable. So your experience, it gives you some wisdom.
Yeah.
It also can kind of hold you back.
It can lock you in a certain time and place because you're too worried to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know when you were going to incorporate
why don't you go ahead now?
So Isaiah. Like in Isaiah, I have to get my glasses on. I have to get my glasses on, people, because my eyes are changing. But in Isaiah 43:18 and 19, it says, "Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?"
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of us can get stuck in that.
Yeah.
Do we not perceive what God is doing?
Yeah.
Because we are so much on the former things. We want to keep our kids little, so we're going to treat them that way as adults.
Yeah.
Or we saw someone else go do something, so we want to stay here instead of moving forward. But what we have to remember is, it's not all about our kids either.
Yeah.
We still have all these years left to live, and God is still springing forth new things in us. But if we are so stuck,
it's not like He's called you to do something until your last kid leaves home, and then you don't have any type of calling or purpose in your life.
To me, that's like the time. I so love the people who, when their kids go to college. I don't know how I'm going to be like when Abby Kate goes to college. Mom always said that was the hardest transition for her. I'm praying that's not the case for me, but I'm just saying. But to me, like, I want to look forward to that. I love it when people become empty nesters. Not the weird ones that like are obsessed with being empty nesters.
Yeah.
But just the ones who have like gone into a new season.
Yeah, they've embraced it.
They've embraced it.
Yeah.
You know, and they still love their kids and they love when they come home, but they also love being empty nesters. And
sometimes I'm like, what's the alternative?
We'll just sit and be depressed.
Or also, do I want all my kids home again?
Oh, that's true.
Right? So sometimes you have to almost go to like, okay, what would the alternative be and how would I feel in that situation?
Yeah.
I should embrace this next season.
Yes.
Because it's what's supposed to happen. You know, but I think a big thing with this is like discernment. Just having greater discernment about if change is coming and how to embrace it and how to acclimate to it, because like change is going to come. It's just the life that we live, and we all tend to lean towards comfortability. It's why we want to sit in the same seat in the same section at church every Sunday, or the same parking spot or whatever. But like change is inevitable, and so I think discernment is great. Sam, my son, did like a chapel thing for my husband's company, just like a talk, and he was talking about discernment in transition, in change, and all this stuff. And he said, and he might have gotten this from somewhere else, I'm not sure, but he said the greater the discernment, the fewer the options, the fewer the options, the better the focus, the better the focus, the greater reward. And I thought that was so good, because it's like, just because we don't just have to sit in whatever that season is. We can have some discernment on what God is doing, a new thing, and be a part of it. I don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's
because I'm unwilling and I'm going to be stubborn about it.
Yeah, I agree. And like, it's so true. I mean, I just think that we can tend to miss out on things because we can tend to miss out on things that are even greater because we're so stuck in thinking that our way is the best way.
That's right.
And our plan is the best plan. And that does go back to control. And I just think that we have to be so careful and aware that it's okay. It's okay when things move. And it might be uncomfortable, but okay, so I have a question for you. What has been the hardest change that you've gone through so far? Just like life changes, seasons, whatever it looks like. Yeah. Kids leaving, I don't know.
I think because probably like I'm in it maybe is navigating adult children.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, maybe because that's just like I'm right in the season, because if you would have asked me maybe when my kids were little, I would have been like potty training.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
Whatever. But you get through a season, you get through it, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, that wasn't either that bad or it was bad, but we got through it or whatever. And that's kind of how we have to look at all the things that happen. But I would definitely say navigating adult children, because you talk about using a lot of self-control discernment, wisdom, gathering from that. And I can't imagine doing it without like God, the wisdom that God gives us in His Word, one, talking to other people, being in community with others. And I'm in it. So I haven't I can't be on the other side of it and be like, oh,
you're not going to be on
I just did that so great.
I guess, ever. I mean, you're going to have adult children for the rest of your life.
But I think I go back to what we talked about before, and I'm like, I don't want it to cost me a relationship with them or their spouse or my grandkids or whatever. And it's like what you said. It doesn't mean just like laying down and you're all about other people and there's nothing that you want or whatever. That's imbalanced.
Yeah.
But that's where discernment comes in.
Yeah.
Discernment is the balance. Mm-hmm. It's the wisdom applied to the situation, And so I just want to be aware.
I know. I think it's, I'm not really there yet. I know Parker's 18, but I'm not there yet. Adult, married, kids. I definitely, Mom has always talked to me about how hard it is to have adult kids in the sense of like self-control and letting them do their thing, but then also speaking into situations. And so I've just tried really hard to remember all the things she said or watch you guys. For me, I would say
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, for me, change is interesting for me because there's I kind of like new things. I like to look forward to things. I'm a big look forward to person. I like new things. But there's been some change that has slapped me right in the face that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So, but I would say one thing right now that's interesting is navigating our whole family.
Right.
Growing and having to get out of things that we've done forever.
Yeah.
And move into some new things.
Yeah.
That has been interesting because so I'm in this I'm the last kid. So I still have some younger kids, but so do you. You still have Ella, Wade and Kimberly, but it's at the same time it's but then we have older kids. And so it's I have to be okay with our family changing some traditions that we've had a long time. Right. But starting new traditions.
Right.
We're not saying that we're going to get rid of something and not replace it. We're just saying we're going to start something new.
Yeah.
And it's not I'm crying about it. It's just Lindsey, this is inevitable. This is good. And then our family, me, Derek, our kids starting something new. And so that is an interesting thing. But some of that's come along because of Mom passing away.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge, shift. And so, but I think that doing this now is going to help me when I do have adult kids. I do think that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if it was the hardest change I've ever gone through, but I definitely think that it's it's something that you're just practicing. It's a lot of practicing.
Yeah. And I think God, change exposes us to things we're holding on to too tightly.
Yes, I agree. So I've said this before, maybe on this podcast, I don't know. But I've read a long time ago that so here's what happens. When you're depressed or sad because something has changed, you're grieving what was.
Yeah.
But that means that you were too emotionally tied to what was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yes.
That's unhealthy. That's not what God has called you to do. We had a church situation and that's probably one of the hardest changes I've gone through. Mm-hmm. But I will say that when that, not current church, old church, but when that happened, Derek and I were able to look at our situation and say, we were way too, our worth. So this is what the book says.
Yeah.
Our worth was in that thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So our worth, if you're grieving a death and you can't get out of it, your worth might have been in that person and you didn't realize it. Our worth was in that church, but we would have never said that. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
And once we moved forward and God was able to work on us, we recognized that if you grieve that hard over losing something or something changing, maybe you need to reevaluate where your worth is and how emotionally attached you are. You only have worth in God. Your emotional attachment should only be to God, not your spouse, not a person, not your job, not your church, not your friends. Because when the time comes, if the time comes, and that thing has to go, you're still happy and content.
Yeah, it's almost not if, it's when.
It's when, exactly.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. It will, things change.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you are so rocked, your world is so rocked by something changing, you got to look inward. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying shame on you because we did it. We didn't even know.
Yeah.
We did not even know that you could be that emotionally tied to something.
Exposes is good.
Yeah.
It exposes what we're holding on to too tightly.
And I think we get so fooled by the enemy sometimes to think, well, it's good that I'm that attached to my church.
Yeah.
It's good that I'm that attached to my spouse. We have such a healthy marriage. Got to be careful.
Yeah.
What's good could be turned into bad. And
yes.
And I think that that's what I have really figured out about change is like we can never be so tied to something that's who we are because we should only be that tied to God.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
And moving past the past doesn't make the past irrelevant. But I think if you can't do it, it's restrictive. Yeah. You aren't going to get to where God has you in your next season, you know?
No.
And I always think like a new year, these are just good things to reflect on. Transition and change and how much are we digging our heels in instead of letting God lead us and kind of it's our will versus God leading.
Yeah.
Like where are you on that? You know, like just.
And can I say this? Sometimes you know that you have to change and you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you're forced to change.
Yeah.
Like the church thing, we were forced to change. We didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay? And then there's other times where God is like, your situation in life or whatever that is not going to change until you take a blind leap of faith. Yeah. And that's really hard. But I believe that if we don't do that, we're stuck where we're at. We're the same old stagnant. I'm praying for this. I'm believing for my job to change. And all this stuff. Well, why has it not changed in years? Yeah. Well, okay. Well, now we have to look at ourselves and say,
who's the common denominator?
That's right. Am I the reason why things have not changed? And that's somebody who is more so not like a lot of what we're talking about is people who are us or whatever is we kind of want to stay in this warm and fuzzy, comfortable. But then there's things where change is coming and you're not in a warm and fuzzy thing, but you're waiting on God to physically do everything for you.
Well, and he's just not going to.
And he's not going to do that.
That's what faith is. You have to step out in faith towards the things, and that's where that discernment and wisdom and things like that come in hand. Yeah. I think the people that are around you that you're getting wise counsel from, you know, like all of those things, but to never either be so like I'm in a bad situation, but I'm not moving until God moves me. Well, you're going to have to do something about that.
Exactly.
Or to be like, I'm just so comfortable and so happy and I love how things are and all this stuff. And so I'm just going to try my hardest to keep it like that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's control both ways. It really is. And control is hard. But I don't know why, like, I get so excited when I read Isaiah 43. I love it. I don't know if it's because when we were going through something, I would read that and I'm like, behold, I'm doing a new thing. I get so excited. Now, I have a question. Any of you listening right now, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Does that make you cringe? Or does that make you excited?
Yeah.
And that also can say something maybe about where you're at in life or because to me, like I look at that as like the coolest thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's about the perspective on how you read that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
I
don't know either. But I'm like, but God doesn't say sometimes those changes are inevitable and they're going to come because it's natural or we have to choose to do something. And I'm just like, but it's so positive. It's always positive. It's just getting past the hard parts. And I'm not trying to be whatever, but I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not judging. I'm observing that, that if you struggle with change, natural change, like your kids naturally getting older, things naturally changing around the holidays, you are being self-centered. And I'm sorry, I know some of you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth because it's turning to be about you. Yeah. And it's not about you. Yeah. It's just not. I'm not saying that you should be like a punching bag or whatever that looks like. But it's not about you. Mm-hmm. It's just not. You lived your life. You've already, if you're older and you've already, that's who we're talking to. We're not necessarily always talking about, and even with people, young moms who can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not.
That's right.
And I'm like, and so like, get over it.
Yeah.
Pull your big girl panties up.
Yeah. And
make something good come out of it.
Yeah. There's some questions that, again, I sometimes use ChatGPT to help us out in our podcast, but it's like reflection questions. And I thought these were really good. And as we kind of close, and we have one more thing after this, but is where have I become rigid without realizing it?
Yeah.
It's a good
I
question.
feel like we need somebody to sit here and tell us. That's when you need your kids to sit here and say, where am I rigid but don't realize
so this is coming. What change might God be inviting me into? Mm-hmm. Again, that's a perspective. If you use the word inviting you into.
That's true.
That's a great way to think about that.
Yeah, that's
what is
true.
God inviting me into this new thing or whatever that is? And who has permission to lovingly challenge me?
That's a hard one.
It is. But like you just said, it doesn't need to be your kids, doesn't need to be your spouse, doesn't need to be your friend, doesn't need to be your sister.
Yeah. Are you not judging but observing?
Yes,
where I need to change?
No. But I felt those were really good reflection questions.
Yes, you need to say those.
Okay, where have I become rigid without realizing it?
Okay.
What change might God be inviting me into? And then who has permission to lovingly challenge me?
Okay, we need to put that on a post for all of you to take notes of, because I think those are really great thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just be honest. I think it is really hard to be challenged. I think as moms, it's really hard to be challenged. You know, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you really don't get challenged very much.
You're the one always calling.
You're the one always calling the shots. Yeah. If you, me and my cousin Alex laugh because we're always like, we don't get challenged, because if our kids challenge us, we're like disrespectful.
Yeah.
Do not talk to me that way.
Yes.
You know. And if our husband challenges us, we're like, rude. You're not with the kids all day.
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, Derek can absolutely challenge me. I'm not the best at that always.
Yeah.
I get defensive, you know, and so
I think most people do. I mean, I don't see people that are just walking around being like, I need you to just challenge me. Now, I will say
feedback culture. Feedback culture.
Yeah. So I think we do need to be more like, and again, it's good to be like, who has permission to do that?
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you don't want anybody to speak into your life that
doesn't
love you and want the best for you.
No.
You know,
I don't need some Joe Schmo on the same worship team as me on my level trying to tell me what to do.
Just kidding. But I hope this was helpful. It's helpful for me just to chat about it because, like Lindsey and I said, like, we definitely are. It's something that we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And so we're like, surely there's other people that are feeling the same way. But we have a new thing.
Yes.
Speaking of new things, Isaiah,
new things are springing forth on Sisters Unfiltered.
Yes. We used to do question of the week.
Yep.
And we're going to shift that just a little bit because we were just feeling like our season was going in a theme. And so our new thing that we're going to do every week, and we'll trade off, Lindsey and I, is
Confession of the Week.
Yes, Confession of the Week.
Because we're not judging, we're observing.
That's right.
So you cannot judge our confessions
of the week. Yes.
And our confessions are only to either A, make you feel better about yourself because you don't do those things.
Right. Yes.
B, make you feel better about yourselves because you can relate.
Yes.
Or C, you're not judging, you're observing.
Yes. Right. Those are your three categories.
Those are your three categories because we are going to be real and raw as much as we can.
Yeah.
Because that's just life.
Yeah.
And I personally want to make sure y'all come on this podcast and you leave thinking, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Or I feel way better about myself.
Because I've never done that.
Yeah. Okay, but Lindsey's going to go first.
Okay, I'm going to go before we wrap up. All right, so my confession of the week is, I really debated telling this confession.
This is going to be every week. I'm sure we're going to be like, ugh, I don't want to say this.
Some of them will be lighter, but so here's the deal. My daughter had a birthday this week. And I think I made her like cry like twice. And she actually doesn't cry that much. But my confession is that I got mad at her and I threw a bag at her. I threw a bag bag at my daughter.
No, she's not like a little kid. She's 15.
So let's just say I'm not being abusive.
Yeah.
But I did. I got so bad because let me just tell y'all something. So we have an upstairs, downstairs house. And, you know, I have learned going up. I like to keep my house clean, tidy. Our mom was like professional organizer, type A. Now, I'm not type A like she was. But I do keep downstairs pretty clean. Yeah. And I have learned to keep my sanity. And for me losing my absolute crap, I just don't go upstairs very often. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. I don't just let them leave it a dump up there. Yeah. I do a couple of things to help me out. One is I make them show me pictures and videos of their room.
I love it. You're like, screenshot. I need you to send that to me.
Because if I walk upstairs, I get so mad.
Yeah, I mean, we have one level now, and all my kids are almost gone. So, but same. I get so mad. Like, I'd be like, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm not gonna yell. I'm just gonna gently ask them to please do this. The minute I hit that top stair,
I'm done.
It's like I black out.
No.
I just lose it.
I get so mad. And I'm like, what is happening? And so I told Amory to clean her room. Sorry, Amory, I'm throwing you under the bus right now. I told you Amory is my two most laid back children are definitely my most messy children. And I told her to clean her room. She told me multiple times it was clean. Y'all, I've told her so many times you're not allowed to drink or food upstairs. I go upstairs. There are cups everywhere in her room. There are drinks everywhere in her room. There's trash on the floor. You cannot even walk. Now, when I say my kids are messy, it's not like you can't walk in their rooms kind of messy. Yeah. Like, I don't allow that. But there's still like trash on the floor. You can't even walk in her closet. And y'all, she bold-faced looked at me and said she cleaned her room. And I got so mad. I picked a bag up off the floor, threw it at her as hard as I could. I mean, it was like a paper bag. It wasn't a big deal. She's crying. And you know what? I was like, I don't even feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I was like, because I've told you so many times and you have not done it. So anyways, all that to say, ladies, yes. Call me a terrible person, but I got mad. I threw a bag at her. You cannot tell me that if you have had older kids, you have never done that. Yeah. My mom broke so many brushes spanking us because it does. It makes you want to lose your everlasting mind.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that to say, now we have opted to room check every other day.
You're just getting ready for college.
No,
RA will be
for the dorm
check.
I literally texted our family chat and I said, this is not for Parker because he's in college. I said, room check tomorrow. Beds have to be made. My kids don't make their beds before they go to school. I'm sure all of you amazing moms out there who make your kids make their beds. Yeah. Good for you. My mom did. I wish I did. It's like I'm already, Enneagram 8, and I'm on my kids about other things, and I just really try not to be on them about everything. So anyways, it was a bad moment, and that's my confession of the week.
I love it.
I don't know if you can top that, but
Oh, I probably can, but yeah. All right.
Pray for me, ladies.
Yeah.
For the room check, which I'm about to do today.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes. But I have to get.
I don't even live here, and I feel like I need to go home and get my house ready.
I will say my two youngest girls probably keep their room the cleanest. They're not perfect, but they could. But I think it's because I've been on them stricter.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Yes.
So.
Anyway. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Hope we were encouraging today. And we're all learning together because we are not judging. We are observing.
That's correct.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good week.